Uh-oh, we got a little technical issues. Micah, come back in. Come back in. Y'all, we live though. We live. We live. My co-host right now is not with me. She getting ready to jump in. I'm gonna need her to come back into my lobby with me. I'm gonna need her to come back in. She's gonna be back in here in a minute. But listen, right now you're listening to Dropping Nuggets with Toby and Micah. Trust me, there is a Micah. I am not the only one. So she will be here in a minute. And she was not late, y'all. She was not late. Something happened, kicked us out. So I'm just gonna wait for her to come back in and we're gonna get rolling. But while I'm waiting on her to come back in, hold on for a second. While I'm waiting on her to come back in, I just want to throw something out to you guys for April 17th. Okay. April 17th is going to be our next live. Okay. April 17th is going to be our next live. And give me a second here. And we're going to have a guest on here. I'm waiting on my co-host. I feel funny without my co-host, you know? So we're going to make this thing work. Where my co-hosts? Where my co-hosts? Y'all probably laughing at me out there, right? Yeah, y'all probably laughing at me. But while I'm waiting on Micah to come back in, but like I said, April 17th is when, look, boom, here she come. Come my co-host, yo. Micah, my bad. Something happened. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know. It's a night for technical difficulties. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. You're right about that. I was sitting over here lost too. I felt like, oh God, I feel this ain't, where's Micah? I need Micah to come on. But yeah, something happened. It was probably something that I did. And I tried to do something new that I shouldn't have done on the countdown. And it kicked everybody out the room. But it is what it is. She wasn't late. It was on me. That's my bad. So you can put that one on me. You can put that one on me. So how you feeling?
Feeling good. I'm excited. I'm super excited for this episode because this is our first episode from the Dropping Nuggets page. It feels like it's been a long time coming, but it also feels like it went very quickly. So I'm super excited for tonight. As always, please like, share, subscribe, invite someone to the page. And just a few things coming up for Dropping Nuggets. Our April show will be April 17th. At 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then also on April 26th at 5 p.m., Toby and I have been asked to host it's called Live 25, a night of discipleship, worship, fellowship. It will be at Jubilee here in Johnson City. So we've already shared the flyer. We will continue to share it, but we would love for you to just come out and have fun worship, in the name of God.
Look, you do the announcements in church. Are you the announcement?
I didn't do the announcements, but in COVID, I was in charge of doing the children's stories. So I've learned a lot.
You sound like you're a professional expert at it, doing the announcements the way you did that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm excited about the April 26th thing. That's gonna be tight. I'm glad to be able to come back home to that. So I'm looking forward to that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump in. Y'all gonna have to give us about 5 minutes over because we had some technical problems. And so, but we have some guests with us tonight. And listen, this is going to be a fun night. All of our guests are fun. And we have with us Kelly and Natasha. Their last name is Cole, but they go by Kelly and Natasha. And Kelly and Natasha have a podcast out that's like really good. It started in January called Finally Won. They got a book on top of that called Finally Won. And they're here to share their journey. And it's really interesting. It's interesting. So you guys are going to really be engaged and you're in for a treat. And listen, if you have questions, man, let us know. Put it in the chat somewhere. We're looking at the chat. So if you have questions that you want to ask Kelly and Natasha, let us know, and we will ask them those questions, okay? So, but before we bring Kelly and Natasha on here, we are wanting to show you guys, and understand their podcast is on YouTube. You can go on YouTube to check it out. So we want to give you a quick clip of their podcast.
More I pulled at you, how did you feel?
Oh, anxiety all the time. Like, oh, I would see his name come up on my phone, and I'm like, oh, I'd be at work, be like, decline. Like, it was awful.
Don't say stop. Aren't you glad you picked up that phone then?
I am glad I picked up the phone. No, I'm glad I heard from God. It's not about
that's
picking up the phone.
That's the better way of putting it. Aren't you glad that you heard from God? And I'm glad too. But by the time she heard from God, I already had peace. I already bought the ring. I already knew. I was like, this is my wife. And I told her that when I was pursuing her. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. But I told you that. I was like, you're my wife. You've always been my wife. You never stopped being my wife. So whenever you hear from God, I'll be ready.
Nice. Kelly and Natasha. What's going on?
What's happening?
Hey.
Yeah, I feel like family. I know y'all three feel like family. They go to the same church, yo, right?
We in the same church.
Yes.
So, well, the thing about that clip that's interesting, you said, man, I'm getting emotional, man. Why was you getting emotional when you were talking about that?
Man, because it was a dream come true. Because like she said, it took a minute for her to hear from God to say that she was going to remarry me. But I just had a faith in God that he was going to let her know. So when I got peace in my spirit, I went and brought the ring. And I said, Lord, however long it takes, I'm going to be faithful to you and I'm going to be faithful to her. So, yeah.
So real quick, I'm going to let Michael kind of take over. But so you got the Finally One podcast and the Finally One book, right? So kind of share with our platform, our people, what Finally One is about, the podcast, the book, and what it is you guys are trying to accomplish with the podcast and the book. Because listen, if you guys have not heard this podcast, look, it's raw, man. That's all. It's transparent. They're very candid, which is pretty cool. So, man, just share with us, your thoughts behind why the podcast and the book.
Yeah. So the podcast, the book came first. Pastor Murphy told me when I told him I wanted my wife back and my family back, he said, it's going to make a great book. I was like, bro, I want to hear nothing about no book. That's what I talk about every day. I said, this is about me getting my family back. He said, you're so hard-headed. God is going to use this book and you're going to have to write it. And I was like, I don't want to hear that. Another friend, pastor friend, came to me and said, this is going to make a great book. And I said, I don't want to hear nothing about no book. She comes home. She was going to another church at the time. Her pastor told her, I see you writing. And she came and told me that. And I was like, I guess we got to do the book. And so, me with my marketing.
But man, you're a publisher, man.
Yeah, but, I didn't want to monetize this. I didn't want to monetize, I didn't want that to be the focus because that's what I operate in daily. I operate as a marketer, entrepreneur, publisher. I wanted this to be focused on, hey, me reconciling with my wife. Because that's what
Uh-oh. I'm watching on Facebook with everybody else. I'm sorry.
So when we decided we were going to do the book, I said, hey, let's go ahead and do the podcast as well. Use our story to impact people and to help people. So that's what it's about. So the story behind Finally One is we were teenage parents. We got married in our 20s, divorced in our 30s, and reconciled or remarried to each other in our 40s. That's what it means.
So I want to talk about being teenage parents and marrying young. Do you feel like the fact that you guys were teenage parents that kind of forced you guys to marry young? Do you feel like you should have maybe took some time to grow and learn each other more?
Oh, yes. We should have took our time, but he was pressed. He had a baby. And I always grew up in the church. So I was like, yeah, we got to get married. That's all to it. And then he just came and was like, I don't want my kids outside the house. And yeah, that's pushed us to get married.
Yeah, yeah. We had no counsel, no nothing. Like even our what do you call it? Like wedding
The
counseling,
marriage
marriage
counseling.
counseling. The pastor, no shot to him. We love him, but he didn't even open up the Bible. He didn't tell us
No.
anything. We went into it blind. He just said, "Hey, y'all want to do this?" And we was like, "Yeah." She's, I'm 21, she's 19.
19.
We just like, yeah. The only reason we got married was to raise our son. That was it. It wasn't, oh, we're in love. We want to build this life together. We want. No, it was, I want to raise my son.
And who's your son? I know y'all get this question all the time. I know y'all be like, oh, but I'm just gonna throw it out there and then we leave it alone. Who's y'all son, man?
Who's our son?
Our son is Aaron Cole.
With the underbite. Yeah.
Aaron Cole.
Big,
If y'all don't know Aaron Cole, y'all need to go check out Aaron Cole. Big time. Big time. Christian artist.
for sure. Yeah,
So
we should remove his award from back there too.
Can you see it? It's
No,
over
you can
there.
see. Anyway,
so what's that award?
that's a Dove Award. So it's like a Christian Grammy Award. He has two of
It's on
those.
that side of you.
Yep, it's over there. It's called a Dove Award.
That's dope. So since we're on the topic of children, I would love to ask, how do you feel like the divorce and then also finding out that their parents are going to remarry, what was that like for your children? Because I'm sure it's like one emotion, then another emotion, and I'm sure it was what are y'all doing at this point? So can you speak on that?
I'll explain, because it's like my baby girl was with me. Aaron was always with him. So me and my baby girl, we became tight. She didn't really want to have nothing to do with him. And I see that that's probably basically because of me, because anything that I was saying, I would go to her and we would just talk. So she was like, I don't want nothing to do with him. He did this to you. And so that was half on me. But that's the side for me and my baby girl. As far as him and Aaron,
I mean, I did not estimate how hard it would, how big of a toll it would take on them. Like I underestimated. I thought that, hey, we were in a good place to where, hey, me and their moms can get a divorce, but my relationships are strong with them and we'll be able to keep rolling. I did not anticipate. We're still healing. Like we're all still healing from the divorce far as a family unit. But yeah, it affected each one of them differently. Like Aaron's the type, it comes out in his music.
yeah,
Like that's his therapy. It'll come out in his music. So if you listen to his music, you know our whole story pretty much. And then baby girl, like she said, she's more internal. And then my oldest daughter, Alexis, our oldest daughter, she's kind of like me. She's the only one who grew up outside of our house. We didn't share it, but the week we were getting married, I got a call from a young lady that I was dating before me and her actually got married. So I'm getting married on Saturday. I get a call on Wednesday that this other young lady is pregnant. So here it is. Now I'm gonna make it.
Wait a minute. So wait a minute. So somebody was pregnant.
Yeah.
When you got married or before you got married? When you was at the altar?
So
yeah,
listen.
he knew.
Yeah, I knew.
Oh,
so
you knew.
Yeah,
he did. I didn't.
So when I
Oh, wow.
decided when I decided I was going to marry her the first time, I left this relationship that I felt like was great, and I was in love with the young lady. Like I was like good, but I wanted to raise my son, so I left this relationship that I felt like was perfect to marry her to raise my son. And as we grew in the first marriage, I resented her. Like I resented her in the marriage because I'm like, yo, I left this perfect relationship to be with you, and you not even acting right.
So y'all started off on a bad note.
Oh yeah, I get a call on Wednesday.
I'm glad the preacher didn't cancel y'all.
Yeah, and I'm like, we're getting married on Saturday, and I tell the young lady, tell me she's pregnant, and I was like, well, what I'm going to do? I said, one thing I do know, Aaron is here, and to carry a baby 9 months, that's not always guaranteed, and that was my thought process as a 21-year-old. So I didn't tell anybody. What happened was the week after we got married, people start calling our house and start trying to tell her. So I sat her down and told her.
Yeah, this joker was crying at the altar, and I'm thinking he's crying because he saw this beautiful thing walking down the altar, all to because he knew that he had a baby, another baby on the way.
Mike, I know you got some questions. I can look at you and tell.
I do. So that's heavy. Natasha, how did you handle that? Because I know you probably wanted to go upside his head if you didn't.
Don't cuss on that podcast.
I did.
Keep it PG on here. Go ahead.
When he told me, I was just like, oh, payback is coming. Like, you're gonna get it. I mean, it was very heavy on me, and to have it like all through the marriage and him cheating and trying to sneak and call this girl while he's married to me, like, it took a toll on me. But I still loved him, and I wanted to be with him, and I was always saying, like, divorce is not an option. So
you want to be with me, baby.
I wanted to be with you.
So divorce is not an option, but it became an option.
It did.
Only because of me.
And why was that?
Because I was a knucklehead, man. I was not healed. I did not do I didn't go through the process of healing. So I was a broken little boy until I rededicated my life and got rebaptized. Like, I was broken. So I was sexually abused by a female family member growing up, separation anxiety from my mom, rejected by my father, had this, love-hate relationship with so I was a mess. And here I was, I had a, child young, felt like I was forced into a marriage. Then I had my worst nightmare come true. I'm in love with this other woman. She has a baby. So now I got a baby out of wedlock, something I didn't want. I'm in a marriage where me and her don't get along. And I'm just a kid, a boy raising kids. Like, I was just a mess, bro. So, and like I said, I grew resentment for her in the first marriage because I'm like, yo, why can't you be like this? I left this perfect relationship to be with you, and you're not cooking.
I was always
you're not doing nothing. Yeah, I was comparing everything she did. So it was all me. Go ahead.
So okay, we're gonna move to you. You guys have gotten divorced.
Yeah.
And now, what were some things that you recognized in yourself and you was like, hey, I have to fix this before we get back together? Like, what were some things that you was like, I have to work on to make it different this time?
Yeah, for me, I had to heal. I had to go through a healing and a deliverance. I had to get delivered from a sex addiction. I had to get healed, when I rededicated, Pastor Murphy, I was on the phone going crazy on the phone. And he was like, shut up, I'm finna pray for you. And he just started praying. Y'all know him. That's my brother. So we talk like that. He said, shut up, I'm finna pray for you. And he just started praying. Next thing I know, I'm crying and I'm saying yes to the Lord. And I felt the yoke break. And I said, okay, Lord, yes, I'm gonna do it your way. And I called her. I said, hey, I just rededicated on the phone. She was like, you capping, whatever. I said, I'm not asking you for anything. I said, just be my friend. And that's it. I knew I had to rebuild my relationship with the Lord. I had to heal. And I told her, hey, I'm not going to be trying to have sex with you. I'm not having sex with anybody until I remarry, whether that's you or anybody else. I said, but I have to go through this process. So I knew I had to change. I knew I had to grow. I knew I had to heal.
Wow. So Natasha, how did you take that when he called you and was like, hey, I rededicated my life, girl. I rededicated my life and get my life together. What was you?
I've been down this road before. He's not changed. And then I was praying. I was like, Lord, you got to show me something. And when he asked me to be his friend, I was like, okay, I can do this. But then he still was sending me messages and giving me anxiety. And I'm like, okay, I will be your friend if you just calm down. And then he went into, what did you
like when I shifted the focus from you?
Yeah.
So I heard her loud and clear one day. I heard the Spirit say to me, speak to me. And I heard it and I said, got it. So anytime that I wanted to text her, I just talked to the Lord. I said, Lord, show her my heart that it's changed for you. Show her my heart that it's changed for her. Show her that I actually want to be a husband and not want to be married, and that I want to serve her. And I just left her alone and I just ran after the Lord, and she started running after me.
Yeah, I tested him a couple of times. I'm like, oh, I know if I give it up to him, he gonna be running back. He wouldn't.
What happened? Tell him what happened.
Oh, what?
I didn't get
No,
it. I didn't
he
budge.
didn't. He didn't budge. I was like, oh, well, maybe he has changed. Because before he'd be like, oh yeah, I'm hitting that.
Yeah.
But he
But
didn't
no.
budge. I was like, oh, okay.
I was committed. I was
God
committed.
is real.
I was committed to my deliverance. I was committed to my healing. And I knew in order for our marriage to be different, we had to do it God's way. I couldn't do it halfway. And to be the leader and for her to respect me as the priest and the leader of the home, she had to see me set that standard. So, yeah, that's what had to change.
Wow.
So, what are some things that you feel helped rebuild that trust and emotional connection to even get to the point to remarry?
Yeah.
So some stuff that had to,
like what I did, like to earn your trust back. Like what was the thing?
Oh yeah, he had to continue to show me. Like he would call me and ask me to go out on a date. He would bring flowers. He would write notes. Just trying to win my heart back. And I told him. I mean, he even asked me like, "We got to get married. I got to get my covering back." And I'm like,
my
no,
favor back.
I'm not trying to marry you. No. And I was like, I'll pray about it. And then I started praying about it. I went to church one day, and my old pastor, it was like he was talking to me. He was like, you just got to believe it and receive it. God will appoint it. He said the door can't be opened in 24 if you don't go back
through the door. Yeah,
through the door or something like that. But I knew the Holy Spirit was talking to me, and I'm like, oh, that's it. He's saying yes. So I ran to him and told him I would marry him.
But what I did was, Micah, I knew I had to become naked, right? So I knew I had to become naked with her and naked before God in order for us to get back to this place of one and get back to Eden, right? So one of the things I did on one of the dates is I gave her the password to my phone. I gave her the password to all my social media. I said, there's no part of me that you don't have access to. And that didn't happen in the first marriage. Like she couldn't ask me about nothing.
She would hide everything.
She couldn't touch my phone. She couldn't do nothing. But I knew.
So did you take advantage of that, Natasha? Did you like, okay, let me see your phone from time to time?
Yeah, I was going through it. I needed to see everything. Everything. Because before I would try to get the phone, and he would even turn girls' names into guys like it was his homeboy that he could talk to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took advantage of that and went all through it.
So I knew, that was the thing. I knew I had to become naked. Like I couldn't have anything without her. And that has rebuilt the trust. Like, so now we don't have anything in between us. If you talking to me, you talking to her. So I ain't worried about nobody calling my phone. I ain't worried about nobody texting me. I ain't hiding nothing. Bro, it feels so good to be free. So if somebody call me, somebody text me I'm supposed to, that's on them. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
I feel you, man. You sound free. You sound.
Bro, I did a bunch of blocking, unfollowing, all of that. I had to get rid of all of that and truly, like, I got truly committed to the Lord. Celebrities I unfollowed that followed me back and I had access to, because traveling the world with a Christian superstar, I meet a lot of people, like people that you like, bro. I had Lisa Ray in my phone. Like that's how far like I meet people. So I had to block anybody I had encounters with, block, unfollow, the whole nine. So yeah, so I'm free. So she can go through my phone anytime. I told her, I said, if somebody came to you and told you I was in their DM or doing something, I said, I'm gonna laugh in your face. Because I know it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Now back in the day, I'm gonna start a fire, I'm gonna create a diversion, but I said I'm gonna laugh in your face because it ain't true.
Man. So how long were you guys divorced between the marriages, between the two, first and second?
6 years.
6 years.
So 6 years.
Yeah.
So okay. So it sounds like Kelly. I'm just saying, I could be wrong. It sounds like if I had to sit here and just listen, I'd be like, it sounds like Kelly Cole might have been the issue in a lot of this. Or is it 50-50?
No.
Is it
no
90-10?
No, 98-2. I'm gonna give her 98-2. I'm gonna be a man and be responsible. I was not watering the garden that God has given me. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
wasn't watering her with the word. I wasn't a leader. We did everything we did in the church all those years. We did it broken. We did it
Yeah.
depressed. We did it unhealed. I was teaching Sunday school for 14 years, broken,
Wow.
hurting. You know what I'm saying? So it was me. He gave me everything I needed in the garden, and I was just like Adam and Eve. I looked at the one thing he told me not to touch. Mm,
So
mm.
I have a question because obviously people get divorced a lot of times. So to get to that, how are you able to, not only reconcile, because sometimes you can reconcile and necessarily not get remarried. What was the point of not only do I want to reconcile, but I want to get my wife back. I want my family back. How are you able to differentiate the two?
And can I
Yeah,
add this? Can I just add another part to her question? And what is y'all's, how do y'all define reconciliation?
for sure. Yeah, definitely. I'll start off with the first part. I had to go out there, like I used to say this to Pastor Murphy because we would have lunch all the time. And he'd be like, "Man, how you doing?" This is why we were divorced. I was like, "Bro, I'm out here getting my butt kicked." But I would say the other word. No, I had to go out there and get my butt kicked and realize, like, bro, I'm out here looking for what God had already given me.
Mm,
And he had given me somebody who loved me for me, not for what I can do for them, not because of who I was, not because of who my son was, not because of my access, not because of anything else. She loved me for me.
Hmm.
And always have acted, as my wife. Even in the 6 years of divorce, we never separated our money, our bank account. She had access to everything. In the divorce, never took a dime, never did anything. She would just tell me when she going to get in there and get her alimony and her child support, and that would be it. She would snoop a little bit to see me whining and dining chicks, but other than that, she didn't do anything. So how do I define reconciliation? For me, it was number one, forgiveness had to take place
Yeah.
on both sides. And then the step further was in becoming one, we had to become naked. And then that reconciliation was us finally getting remarried. So that's for me. I feel like there has to be a rejoining of a relationship. It doesn't have to be marriage. So I've fallen out with a best friend. I've forgiven him, but we will never reconcile, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. So I feel like in reconciliation, that means you come back into almost like a covenant, not a marriage, but even relationship. But we took it a step farther and established our covenant and became remarried. And that's why it's called finally one, because we are finally one, like in everything on one accord.
mm.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
he explained
So
it like the reconciliation. That's what I say too, is like the forgiveness and completely becoming naked and being with each other and in love, and him showing me my respect and me respecting him. Like
Yeah.
that's the reconciliation.
Yeah.
So I have one final question for you guys, unless Toby has another one. But
I got a
for
lot, but we ain't
couples,
got enough
Come
time.
on, come on, give us some more. Go ahead.
for
Go ahead.
couples who are considering reconciling, but on either party, they're scared to make the first move or scared to take that journey. What is some advice you would give to them?
I'll speak to the man. Step up. Don't be scared. If you're called to be a leader, you take the lead. You take the lead. Start off slow. Just say, hey, like I told her, my goal was I didn't know what the steps was going to be. I just said, hey, will you just be my friend? And then that turned into, hey, will you pray with me at night? That turned into, hey, will you do this devotion with me? And we just started building. And then I started courting her, and I said, hey, were you going to date with me? Are you busy Friday? And she said, no, I'll go on a date with you. And I began to court her and date her. And yeah, and those were the steps. So take the first step. If you are the man, start leading her. And the reason I wanted her to begin praying with me and doing a devotion, I had to get her used to hearing my voice as the leader. I had to get her used to me watering her with the word. And those were the steps. So the more time I spent with the Lord and the more I ran after him, and then I got her along with me, the closer we got to God, the closer we got to each other. So yeah, that's what I would say. If I would speak to the man, you take the lead. What would you say to the woman?
That's what I would say is pray, seek God on the answer. Like he will show you and direct you. Like he's not going to leave you out there. He said he'll never leave you nor forsake you. So that's the main key, is to pray and hear from God.
Yep. I knew she was my wife. I told her before, when I was still in my flesh, I said, girl, you my wife. You always been my wife. You quit playing. She did not want to hear none of that. She wanted nothing to do with me. I just wanted to be clear. She would ignore my text messages. And when I got converted, I remember this one day. Somebody maybe need to hear this. One day, it was a Sunday morning. I'm crying out to God. I was like, God, why won't she give me some hope? Like, Lord, give me some hope. This is me when I'm back right. And he says, son, be patient. He says, I know you feel guilty because you were out there 6 years and you feel like I love her more. He said, no, both of y'all are my children. He said, that's my daughter. You're also my son. He said, not only am I preparing you for her, I got to prepare her for the new you.
Mm.
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 And
what was that like, Natasha? What was that like? What was that like? God preparing you for this new Kelly, this Kelly that you that you was kind of skeptical about. Like,
yeah, it was amazing. It took me a minute to get used to it because I'm like, oh, he's never done this before. He's never said this before. He's never like looked at me like this. So it took me a while to get used to him opening doors for me, like wanting to hold my hand walking into the grocery store. Like, yeah, it was a turnaround, but I love it. I love every minute of it. I love the attention. I love him spoiling me.
look at them look at each other. See how they look at each other? Look at them.
We've never been like this in our first marriage. It was
wow.
We wasn't even friends in our first marriage. We didn't like each other. We did not like each other, but this is my best friend. I don't want to be with nobody else. I don't want to hang out with nobody else but her. So if you see me, other than when I got to travel with Aaron, but I think it's set up perfectly because I get a moment to miss her and we talking. But this is my best friend. I only want to be with her.
Look, I applaud you guys. I applaud you guys because you're at look at them. Look at
I forgot we on camera. We on
camera. Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm at the high jaw for like 5 seconds. But I applaud you guys because you actually are a part of rare company. Because I had to look at statistics when I was when I interviewed them. I got to look at some statistics because only 6%. I got this written down. Only 6% actually remarry the same spouse. Like once they get a divorce, only 6%. Now I'm going to give you one that you're like, well, we ain't gonna be a part of that. But that 6% that remarry, they come back and say 30% of that 6% end up getting a second divorce.
Wow.
So this might be my last question. I'm gonna. So how do you guys deal with the sensitive problems that y'all had in y'all first marriage? Like, I'm pretty sure some of those same sensitive problems from time to time still come into probably this second marriage. And like, how do you guys deal with that?
She said thoughts come up sometimes, but I'll say it this way. We fight to stay in versus looking for an out. Does that make sense? So so whatever it is, if a thought comes up, if a hard conversation needs to be had, we're fighting to stay in. We ain't looking for an out. I ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. This is truly to death do us part.
And I think the reassurance from both of us be like, hey, we in this till the end. Like it's not no negotiations. Like
it ain't even on the table.
Done
like
deal.
We haven't even uttered the word divorce in our second marriage. Like it's completely off the table. We're not going anywhere. So yeah. So even if it comes up, we don't, and because we begin that healing process too, it's a little bit different. The enemy has to really be creative to try to weave his way in between us now. Before, hey, we left the door wide open. So the biggest thing, I had to make some changes. Like we taught a class about restoring that trust after infidelity, your routine. So in my first marriage, my routine was crazy. I had my trap set up, and I was doing a bunch of things that she didn't even approve of, but she knew because I wasn't right. So those things I immediately nipped in the bud. So that can't even come up no more. So that automatically gives her security. And wait, I'll say this too. I wanted to say this. She's not on trial if she tells me she doesn't like something. All she has to do is say she don't like it. We've decided that, hey, if I say I don't like something or she say she don't like something, that's the end of it. She ain't got to prove or explain to me why she don't like it. I don't care if it's my best friend or somebody else. I say this my friend. If she say I don't like him, I don't like you hanging out with him. Hey, bro, you got to go.
Natasha, please. I hope you approve of me. I hope I don't get in that category.
I do. It's not.
I'm just saying, it don't matter. It don't matter what it is or who it is. If we don't have to defend, if I be like, yo, I don't like this, and I got a female best friend that she approves of, right? But if at one point she say, I'm uncomfortable with that, I'm gonna cut off that 10, 12-year relationship where we legit friends, never cross the line, but we don't have to defend that. So it's me and her. We are one. So we don't have to. We agree on everything. So that's it, bro. That's how we keep the devil out. And we stand back to back and we conquer. He can never separate us or put her in the corner or me in the corner.
Man, we can go all night on here, but we ain't got all night time. Mike, you got anything you want to say? Or did you, Mike?
So for people who want to know more and find out more, like quickly, if you could tell them where they can find you guys.
Yeah. Cool. So all of our social media is Kelly and Natasha. But if you want to see where we're going to be, our book signings, our classes, our courses, all of those things, go to kellyandnatasha.com. You can also link to our social media on there, but it's very simple. kellyandnatasha.com. That's where everything is.
And y'all's podcast is basically. I was going to say, so y'all's podcast is like what, every Wednesday?
Mm-hmm. Every Wednesday at noon. On all platforms. We prefer you watch it on YouTube and subscribe because you get to see our interaction. But yeah, it's everywhere. So Apple Podcasts, it's on Spotify, it's everywhere. But subscribe to our YouTube so we can get our subscribers up and get monetized over there.
And since you said that, we need y'all to subscribe to our YouTube as well. Dropping Nuggets YouTube. You know what I'm saying? We need you to go right on over there tonight. If you're watching this, and when you go back and watch it and subscribe, we got to get that thing up. It's not where we want it to be, but it's not where it was, as they say in church. But yeah, we got to get that thing up because, to be honest with you, YouTube is where it's going. Facebook is getting ready to they deleting lives in 30 days now, so you want to get over to YouTube. Go follow Kelly and Natasha. They are candid on their podcast. Like, we have been PG on here, but I'm telling you, go and listen to their podcast. They are very transparent. They are very wide open, and I appreciate you two for taking the time out. I know you get ready to go to Chicago. To sit down and promote the podcast, the book, and those things, man. And man, I just wish you guys the best, man. I think you got a tremendous story that people need to hear and want to hear. And hey, I appreciate it. Mike, you got
yes, thank you guys so much for joining and sharing your story. It was awesome. I know I have learned a lot that I'm going to apply, in my life and, my marriage, when I get there, because I firmly believe, I always say I'll never be a divorcee, but I will be a widow. So in order to prevent that, I'm going to apply some of these things,
Come on, speak it, yes.
But I'm a divorcee, unfortunately.
It's okay. It is okay.
That's right.
But thank you guys so much. I can't thank you enough. And we hope that you guys have picked up several nuggets that was dropped on tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
No doubt. We got to have you guys back. We appreciate you guys.
Anytime.
God bless you all.
Bye.
Peace.
I'm gonna keep y'all on here for a minute so it can load up y'all's tracks.